Florida. Shamrock Security Systems is a top-rated alarm company offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
It's Monday. Not sure how you did it, but you actually survived an entire 2 days without hearing from Tom. Good job to you. And once again, good luck.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. 622-9622 is the number to call if you want to become part of the show, and I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people that want to become part of the show. In the 9:30 hours, we have Matt Wardell, council member. Can I get it right? Not councilman, council member. Matthew Wardell will be on the radio. My better half, the gender-neutral Susan, is here. She had to bring me some medicine this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know about this interview I got at 9:30?
Just vaguely, just what we talked about a little bit. Everybody seems to be all up in arms about it.
It seems to be, what, I'm going to give you a little background. There was a letter sent to the city and the letterhead is from the New St. John Baptist Church, which is an African-American church here in town. And it reads, whereas the city of Ocala, Marion County, Florida, by charter is governed by a council manager form of government of 5 council members that are duly elected by qualified voters at the city at large. Whereas the powers of the city of Ocala, Marion County, Florida are vested in the city council except as otherwise provided by law, charter or ordinances, and the county provides for exercise thereof and for the performance of all duties and obligations imposed on the city by law. On behalf of the African-American pastoral leaders of Ocala, Marion County, Florida, we present the following resolutions to you this October 6, 2020, collectively and individually in your official capacity as members of the Ocala City Council for consideration, approval, adoption, and action. So what I'm reading that to you for is what we're going to talk about today, the neutral gender stuff, was originally sent to the city council or city manager's office for review as a desire on behalf of the African-American pastoral leaders of Ocala, Marion County. So people are like, which politician is putting this stuff up for? Well, citizens actually asked for this to be done. Now, what they ask is that the City of Ocala Council should consider reviewing and revising the city charter of Ocala and address its language that specifically refers to its members and all others in the masculine gender. They also want the City Council to review and revisit its current designations of East Ocala and West Ocala. This change will promote a one Ocala. And then they also wanted the City Council should consider reviewing and revising the current organization structure so that the council should have authority and oversight of the Ocala Police Department and operation thereof in concert with the chief, police, and mayor. So they want to change the city charter for its masculine origins. They want to get East and West Ocala not talked about anymore. They want to change it to one Ocala. And they want the city council to have authority and oversight of the Ocala Police Department, which now is done by the mayor. That's the mayor's job, is the oversight and authority over the police department. Well, okay, let's talk about the third one first. They want the city council to have authority and oversight of the Ocala Police Department. No need. We already have somebody that has Ocala oversight of authority and oversight, and that's the mayor. In this charter system where we set up, it's a weak mayor system where the city council has the authority to make ordinances, pass ordinances, and all the mayor can do is veto them or not veto them. And then the city council can override his veto. The mayor's power is in the oversight of and the authority of the police department. That's the mayor's job. It's clear. I think the city, I don't think we have a bad police department in this city. I haven't heard about, and I've been out during the pandemic of 2020 when there was the demonstrations in the street and on the town square and everything. People were very happy with the way the police were actually supporting the events and not being overly, hard on how these peaceful protests took place.
Right.
I don't see the need here.
Well, did they give a reason when they?
They did not. They did not.
And how does that change, though? Like if you were going to change that authority, isn't it up to all the voters?
Yes. Now, once to change the charter, they could make this resolution, but then it has to go to the voters, and the voters have to agree to change the charter, without a doubt.
Right.
Yes.
And what's the point of having a mayor if?
Well, that's the things I'm going to talk to Matt Wardell about today.
If that changes.
Now, Assistant City Attorney Batzel noted they will be revising the charter to remove references to masculine gender, which is a clerical issue. He noted they did not find any references to East or West Ocala in the charter. Furthermore, they received a resolution requesting the oversight of the Ocala Police Department be shifted from mayor to council. Mayor Gwynn disagrees with the resolution and authority should fall under the mayor. He noted council is a legislative body of government and they're responsible for developing laws. So there's a lot in this to be taken from this, but the one thing everybody's keyed in on is the City of Ocala Council shall consider reviewing and revising the city charter of Ocala and address its language that specifically refers to its members and all others in the masculine gender. Now, and Batzel, the assistant city attorney, says that's a housekeeping issue, really just something, a clerical deal. In this environment right now, where transgender is getting to compete against females and really gutted Title IX for the most part. Once Joe Biden did an executive order saying transgender can be allowed to play in any sport they want. Well, that just guts Title IX because now women don't have the ability to have their own sports because a man who identifies as a woman can go into that sport and just rake. Case in point, there's a sprinter who was ranked 234th in the country in the high hurdles in 2018. He's transgender, allowed to run against the women in 2019. Oh, ranked number one in the world, in the country. Imagine that. You have a transgender MMA fighter who fractured 2 women's skulls while he's fighting. He's a man, but he's transgender, so he's fighting women. He's fractured 2 skulls and fractured an orbital socket. It's okay, though. It's okay. No, it's not. So that's what we're going to have. You're just now. You just are a regular Joe citizen. Mm-hmm. Is this a major concern of yours to change from policeman to police officer or councilman to council member? Is this a big deal? Is it something we should be up in arms about, or is it a clerical issue in your mind that just change it and move on?
Well, I mean, if you actually look up councilman, it's just how it's spelled. It has nothing to do. If you look at the definition, it actually says a member of a governmental council. It's not gender specific. It's just the way it's spelled. I mean, are we going to phonetically change our entire dictionary? So
you mean then if you go to Oxford Dictionary, oxforddictionary.com, councilman, noun, a member of a council, especially a municipal one. That's it.
That's it. How much are we already going to change what doesn't need to be changed? And really, if you let things happen organically, it is much more accepted within your community. Like nobody says stewardess anymore, right?
We say flight attendant. It just is.
And I say police officer. You say police officer.
Right.
I still say mailman.
For those,
I do.
I'm not going to say. What would you say? Postal worker?
It's a letter carrier or a
postal worker.
Yeah, postal worker. But I still say mailman. Nobody is like.
Here's in case you didn't like Oxford, because Oxford's the English dictionary of England. The Merriam-Webster edition, which is the American version.
Yes.
Councilman, noun, a member of a council, as in town or city. I don't see the big deal. Look, I don't see it.
But I also think
I don't want to get into it real hard because we got. I want to save it for later. Mm-hmm. But there's so many other damn things we could be keyed in on.
And here's the other thing, though. On the other side of it, are we really spending way too much time on this? I mean, I would be. Why are we not excited about changing who runs our police department? Oh my gosh. That's going to be a huge deal.
Yeah, and Mike Balkin's doing a great job.
Well, Mike's doing a great job, for sure. But if you change it to the city council, do they now have too much power?
See, that to me is a much bigger deal.
That's a bigger deal than man or lady or he or she or it.
I bet Matthew Wardell, and I'm not going to put words into the councilman's mouth, but I bet when he gets it here, he's going to say the problem they picked isn't even the biggest thing in his mind on the charter changes. But it is right now in this time of gender neutral taking over, and you go from Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner, and everybody's supposed to refer to you as Caitlyn Jenner because you say so, and everybody's supposed to be in sync with changing how you address people because that's how they want to be addressed. The individual wants to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And it's that people tend to think something like this may go too far. And so that's why this issue is going to be a really, the changing East Ocala, West Ocala, although Attorney Batzel says there is no designation in the charter saying East and West. But the powers that be changing with who's in charge of the police department, to me, is much more important than gender identity. Because, by the way, they can change it in the charter all they want. Guess what I'm referring to? Councilman, policeman, Just because you change it in the charter, you're not going to change the way I address it.
That's right.
If you don't like the way I address it, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Right.
All emails to tom@woca.com. I mean, would you be upset if I said, Susan's a deliveryman?
No.
Because it's a person who delivers.
It's a person who delivers.
What do you do?
I tell you, every time I tell you, I'm a warehouse manager. That's all I am.
Yeah.
I'm just.
And where does it go? Where does it go? What do we change? Because manager has man in it. How do we change that?
That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's got man in it. Where the hell do we stop?
What are we going to call manwich?
A sandwich. I mean, it's just, and that I think is a lot of people's problem, is where the hell does it stop?
Right.
I don't think it's so much that they care if it's police officer or policeman. I think it is where the hell does it stop?
Right, right.
And we hadn't even talked about the pink elephant in the room, and nobody is. Everybody's talking about whether they're worried about the police changing or gender neutral. We hadn't talked about the $80 million deficit the city's facing for fire fees they collected that they're going to have to probably pay back. We hadn't even talked about that, but and nobody, when that comes up on the agenda, that's what aggravates me the most about people. When something like this is on the agenda, they'll turn out in force for this. There's a plan for Tuesday night to pack City Hall over this gender neutral. And believe me, I think you should. I think there's got to be a time where do you draw the damn line? Mm-hmm. But where's that same large group of people when the city's trying to decide how to use your tax dollars to pay an $80 million deficit? Where's that large group of people when the city was discussing assessing you a fire fee to catch up? Everybody wants to get up in arms, but they want to only get up in arms about things that are hot button issues to them. Like, they're changing it from policeman to police officer. Which, by the way, I understand the frustration with something mundane as that. Because this is going to take, by the way, this should never be something that was brought to the floor. I understand why, because it's woke society. This is something that should never been brought to council, in my opinion. Because now we're going to waste 3 damn hours that we could have done constructive business for the city over this asinine subject.
Mm-hmm. But here's the other thing. You know what? Citizens of our community brought something to the councilman's attention, and they are looking at it. And I think that's a good use of time. Regardless if we think it's mundane or not, that the people that brought it up does not. Therefore, it should be looked at.
I guess.
So good for you guys. But you know what? I agree with the city manager. That is just a housekeeping issue.
Well, that was a city attorney
or
said
whatever.
That, but it's a clerical issue, he said. Some people don't think it's a clerical issue. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after a short timeout. 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352